have something to tell you. And you're very lucky, because I've never told anyone this in my whole life. You ready to make history?
You say that every time.
Hi, Adam. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, good. Nice to see you. Thanks.
Nice to see you too. Congratulations on the series. I'm just over halfway through it. It's fantastic. I love it to bits.
Oh, good.
What I love about Byron is, I mean, everybody's had their own ins and outs with neighbors, but I think Byron pretty much takes the biscuit for anyone. No, that must have been a real draw when you kind of read this script to get to play this guy. What was it that drew you to this character? And did you get the chance to kind of bring your own ideas to it and maybe even inspire it on maybe some neighbors that you've had run-ins with before?
Yeah, that's funny that you should say that. Yeah, I actually, when I was reading this, was having kind of a spat with my neighbor, and who was honestly a little too much, sort of a little much more than you'd like a neighbor to be. So yeah, I but that's not necessarily what brought me to Byron. What really sort of got me excited about Byron was how nuanced and human he is, and how much of an outsider he is, wanting desperately to be an insider, wanting desperately to do something, and sort of sometimes looking in all the wrong places and how to achieve that, how to become something, kind of looking for the shortcuts and looking for ways in which he could make something out of nothing, getting in his own way. And there's just something really human about that, universal about that. And I think that's why you like the character, because I think we all see a little bit of ourselves in that. And I just love that, he starts off as the annoying neighbor and ends up as the lovable guy who you're rooting for a little bit, Right. And I just think that blend is just so unique and rare. So,
and that kind of love-hate bromance that you get to share, I don't want to give too much away, but with J.K. Simmons, that must have been a dream, not just to work with him, but to get to share these brilliant scenes that you get, these kind of love-hate relationships. That must have been fantastic.
Yeah, you put it perfectly. The love-hate bromance is right. Like it's absolutely a dream. I mean, he's so gifted, he's so good, he's so experienced. He's had such an incredible career already, and he's not stopping anytime soon. He just keeps going, keeps piling up Oscar nominations like anything. He's just such a joy to work with. We both come from the theater, so we both kind of have similar ways we like to work, where we like to play, we like to be prepared and show up and be ready to go and ready to play, and it was so fun to craft these two guys and their relationship together, and yeah, it was a dream. Total dream.
Curious. I mean, I'm quite curious because you get to, I don't want to give anything away, it's very difficult not to, but I mean, there's certain scenes that you get to share where you really do get to kind of play off of each other. There's one in a particular place where you're playing pool together, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
How did you was that very, very choreographed and prepared and structured, or did you get to kind of a bit of improvisation there, play off of each other?
We definitely improvised a little bit. We played off each other. I mean, literally, it's funny you should bring that scene up, because that night we shot that. Well, it was almost an entire day, just the two of us shooting that whole sequence. I remember leaving like late at night and texting my dad or somebody or my best friend or whatever, and I was just like, JK and I decided to play today. Things started to open up, and we decided to, we looked at each other, and without saying anything, we were like, let's play. And it's just so fun, when to do that, and to it takes trust and knowing that you have the same idea about working. And but that scene specifically, those scenes there, when the characters make a change and make a shift, it's just it was a delight to be able to show up and not know how this is going to go, and to be able to look across from you and see, such a stalwart, such a brilliant guy to play with. I mean, he's just so good. And so, and that's what you want, you want to work with the best. You want to work with the good ones. That's the dream. That's the goal. So,
and I mean, the fact that it's such a small cast, but you've got all these secrets going on. Like there's two of you got this secret, and then two of you got this secret over here, and there's another two of you have the secret over here. That must have been really great to kind of play that with that. Was it, like you said, to play with JK a little bit? You could kind of play around with that a little bit because you knew that you've all got these secrets from each other, but at the same time, you have to kind of keep each other on your toes, to kind of to keep the audience on their toes at the same time, no?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's what's kind of and me having to keep the secret from my wife as well was really interesting. That making that choice, and you're talking about something that if you really sit and consider what it is that these characters are grappling with, if you really, really actually consider it, you don't really know how you would handle it. I mean, it is so mind-blowing if you are one of the very few human beings on the planet that are all of a sudden given access to a kind of magic you didn't know existed, and that there's something way bigger than just this mundane life, and to be able to live with that kind of excitement inside and let that be the sort of lifeblood of the series, which I think it is. It's in the veins of the series running through this, like, we know something special here, and what are we going to do with it?
I get it's a heck of a view.
Oh, it's more than that.
Maybe it's time we finally tell somebody else.
Hey, Grandpa. I think you two should consider moving out of the house.
That's what you're worried about?
One of your neighbors saw you pushing Nana around in the middle of the night.
But I think they're hiding something in that shed.
Aside from kind of the sci-fi playing a very pivotal kind of central role in the series, I was amazed and really pleasantly surprised that it was kind of created this perfect segue into all of these different kind of themes of grief, aging, trust. Yeah. That must have really sparked a lot of conversation between you and kind of the cast and crew before and after filming as well, no? I imagine.
I think, for sure. There were lots of times when JK was, we were in a scene together and we'd finish shooting that scene, or, and I would look at him and I'd be like, man, Adam needed to hear JK say that to him. There's a lot, we all have parents and grandparents who have come up against this line of what looks like the end of their autonomy, and wanting to keep pushing it out and out until your granddaughter or your son or what comes up and says, you know what, Dad, Mom, like you shouldn't drive anymore, or you can't, we're worried about you living, by yourselves. And it's something we don't talk about very often in our culture. We like to brush it under the rug and get, and set up the home and everything. And there's a lot there that I think it's about time we have a couple of characters that are dealing with this. It's sort of, it brought up a lot in my life for sure. My grandparents are going through it, it's a lot of people are dealing with this,
I guess even more so. I mean, I think it's the perfect timing as well for this show, because it's kind of, we're all trying to get back to normal after the whole lockdown and COVID and everything. And this is just kind of like, it's taking the blinkers off, almost like us getting outside. And you must have really felt that as well doing this show at this time.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when I got the script, like October of 2020, when I got the script,
right.
Original script. I mean, it was like, man, give me more things that are not this right now. Give, and that's part of what I love about the story, is that it really allows us to kind of use our imaginations and gets us away from reality in a lot of ways, and in ways that I think we need so desperately right now. We all need a little magic right now too. Yeah, we do. I mean, and I love that. You watch a lot of things, and a lot of these new shows and movies, they are going with the, pandemic being in the story, or the whatever, that it's a part of it. And I just love that, the way we handled it. It's just sort of, let's just tell this, this story without those constraints on us. Let's have a break from some of that. And
I really love that it's shone a light on how much more life the older people have still got in them. I mean, Sissy and the JK, they're just like young lovers still in this series, which is fantastic.
You're always looking for an answer to life's great mystery. I found mine.
We still have a lot to learn from our elders, you know, about love, about relationships, about commitment, you know, about honor. And yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot to learn. I certainly had the joy of not just learning it through the script, but, you know, working with those people, those incredible actors, and learning from them, and just as people and artists. And yeah, it's a theme for sure.
Definitely. And obviously, you mentioned that the kind of being able to work with older people. You also had a chance to work with different generations. You work with the younger kind of generation there as well. They also show a great deal of respect for the older people as well, which is something that I kind of feel is sadly especially I'm over here in Spain, but I feel it's getting lost in the younger generation. That's something that kind of I really appreciate as well. It really highlights how the younger generation, at least there are some people still out there that really kind of do show the respect that the older people do deserve, no?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think that is an element of our show that's important. That yeah, I mean, you know, call your grandma, go visit your folks, you know, take the time, because, you know, that there is something really, you know, the folks that have been through more experience just have, you know, I always think about this, like, I always think about things. Whenever I talk to my grandma, who's in a, you know, nursing home, I always ask her in our phone calls, I say, just tell me one piece of advice, you know, give me one piece of advice, you know, when we're on our phone calls. And it's always so good. You know, it's always so good to remember, like, that, you know, we gotta lean into the people that have been through more, because it gives you a better window to appreciate things. But yeah.
So, and just to finish off on the same note, you said that for you it's really important that the older people give you nuggets of advice. So what would you say that you've taken off this series, this project, from JK and Sissy, that you will take with you to the next project, or maybe in the second season, if we get to see a second season of this show?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say this. I mean, you know, we're talking about JK being an older person, but the guy literally works more than any younger person I've ever known. I mean, he doesn't stop. I'm like, I text him, where are you now? You know, I'm in London for this. I'm in here for that. I'm doing here press for that. I'm doing this for that. And I got to run to the Oscars, and then I got to start this new movie and this new show. I mean, the guy literally has a battery that is younger than anything I've ever been. So, you know, but mostly just, I would say just work ethic, and, you know, to sort of have a set way of showing up and doing your work consistently, and doing it in a way, bringing that level of excellence to every single thing that you do, and continuing to show up and continuing to bring that with you every day, even though sometimes it gets a little lonely in the hotel rooms, and it gets a little lonely on the travels, and going from place to place gets exhausting. It does. That, you know, the saving grace is just the work ethic, and the telling of the stories, and how important, that's the important thing, is the work, you know. And JK is a perfect example of that. Sissy is too, just how much care and effort and love is put into each moment, and how important each moment is, you know, to be fully realized. And, you know, you have to give it up to those guys for their body of work and how they've.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. It's really good to speak to you. I can't wait to finish off the last couple of episodes that I've got to watch, and I can't wait for people to see it when it airs tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. Thanks. Nice chatting with you too.
All right, nice to speak to you. All right, hope to speak to you again soon. Take care then.
They control everything. It's just a way to protect the secret. There's more of those, by the way. A lot more.